They can hear us after 5.
All right. I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Quick hellos in the chat, please. I want to know that everybody can hear us okay. Welcome to our session today. I am super excited for this one. It has been a jam-packed week. I know I have a full notebook. I'm sure everybody else does. My name is Tyler. I head up marketing over at PartnerStack. I am joined by Pete Caputa, who's the CEO over at Databox. And today we are going to talk a lot about Databox and their approach to demand gen, to content, and really leaning into partners to help drive a lot of that. So I think it's going to be really, really cool, really interesting. I'm going to try to set the stage here, and then I'm going to hand it over to Pete, and we're going to kind of go through some slides. But I think a lot of us here, right, we're in revenue roles, whether you're a head of marketing, partnership, sales, whatever it might be, right? We're here to drive revenue. And, especially with how the markets are right now, we got to grow 100% year over year, right? That's the standard. That's the ask. Now the pressure is we got to do it way more efficiently than we have in the past, right? We're being asked to do it with less people, less budget. Let's really be deliberate. Let's really, really focus. Not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like I think that's probably how we should be operating. So you have that happening in the market, and then you also have these other interesting trends in the market that are all kind of converging right now. And I'll drop some links into the chat after that just go into a little bit more detail. But I think you have this uprising of the freelancer. I don't know if other people are seeing this, but some of the best marketers that I know, minus the PartnerStack team, of course, and the Databox team, right? Like our in-house people are fantastic. But you have so many great marketers that have realized, you know what, I can go solo, right? There's so many companies that I can provide value to, I can work with, and I can create my own lifestyle around it. So you have this incredible talent that isn't hireable because they don't want to be hired, at least not full time. So you have kind of that happening, and then you have everything that Google's telling us, right? A lot of us, as much as we try not to be, we're a little bit at the mercy of algorithms, whether it's social, whether it's search. And from a Google perspective, like they're pretty clear in what they're asking of us. They're saying, hey, we want content. We know that. We've known that for 15 years. But this content needs to be great. Like, and it needs to be coming from a place of authority. It needs to be unique in the sense that it's proprietary data, insight, knowledge people can't get anywhere else. And our content needs to act as a hub of information. Right. So you have all of these things happening, right? You have the pressure from investors in the market and in terms of being efficient. You have this movement of really incredible talent not wanting to work full time, but still wanting to contribute and provide value. And you have kind of these algorithms at play. So with all of that said, kind of to set the stage, Pete, I'm going to hand it over to you, and we're gonna dive in here, and we're going to hear your story a little bit and how you've really evangelized and implemented and operationalized this idea of partner sourced content.
Yep.
Everybody get ready. Take notes. This is going to be action packed. I'll watch the chat for Q&A. Pete, over to you.
Thank you, Tyler. My sound is good here. We're ready to go. You can hear me? Ooh.
Yes, sir. Looking good.
And slides good. Cool. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Tyler. I think you summarized some of the trends that definitely have impacted the way I think about marketing. That there's a lot of talent out there that you'll never hire, but who can partner with you and help you go to market. That marketing is just getting more and more competitive, whether it's search or social. It's really hard to stand out, really hard to get your message out there, and partners can be a great method for helping you get your message out and amplifying it to a much larger audience. So today I'm going to talk to you about how I did that, how we did that at, and I'm going to share a bit about my HubSpot experience as well as Databox. So first, I'm going to share a little bit about HubSpot experience. For those who don't know, I joined HubSpot in 2007 when it was just 15 people, well before it was well known. If you don't know HubSpot now, they're a public company I want to say 1.4 billion in annual revenue. Done pretty well. 40% of that revenue comes in through channel. I started the program and scaled it up past 100 million in ARR. And I'll share a little bit about how the co-marketing that we did enabled that channel to grow, and also, of course, helped lots of agencies scale their business as well. I left HubSpot in 2017, looking for my next entrepreneurial challenge. I ended up joining a very small company at the time, Databox. They had a product, but very, very little revenue. We've scaled that to 6.5 million ARR, so much smaller than HubSpot. But we've done it in a way where we've been basically cash flow break even. A bunch of money was raised and burnt early on before I joined, and we raised a little bit when I joined, but we've been cash flow break even for more than 3 years now, and investing in our growth. So been able to figure out how to leverage partnerships to scale our business very profitably, and of course help lots of agencies, lots of marketing agencies who are our partners. More than 1,000 agencies use our platform to report results to clients. And then I'm going to go in and just give you some quick advice on exactly how you can think about, you should think about how you go to market. I think what, in my experience, marketers as well as SaaS executives have trouble grasping the idea that you would really leverage your partners to market, as opposed to just building an in-house team and using direct channels. And so I'll share with you some of my suggestions on how to think about that, or suggestions on how you maybe position that to your boss or executive team if you're facing resistance. But for number 1 and 2, I'm going to be very practical, as Tyler mentioned. I'm going to share very specific things that we did and how that worked, and how that really helped us build out both businesses. So first of all, I've shared some of these things before, not all of them, but some of them. I wrote, believe it or not, I wrote this article in 2014. Some of you might have still been in high school then, I realized, but it's a pretty extensive article on the first 7 years of building HubSpot's channel. And in it, you'll see a table of contents. And the one I want to point out there is step 1, is that you should really think about marketing, not sales, especially when recruiting resellers, but also when it comes to training and educating them and even rewarding them with co-marketing opportunities. So what I want to impress upon you today is that co-marketing is the biggest lever for really pulling in partners as well as activating and enabling them, which really those are the 3 big steps, right? Acquiring partners, activating them, enabling, and really rewarding them when they do well. And so marketing is like the key driver of all of those activities. And I'll show you exactly how I think about that. So if you don't know HubSpot's story, HubSpot is most famous for this concept of inbound marketing. We certainly didn't invent search engine optimization or business blogging or landing pages or lead capture, but we HubSpot as a company, when I was there, was the pioneer of pulling that all together and putting that into a process and teaching companies how to really attract prospects to them. Back before the internet, before all these tactics were popular, everyone would interrupt people with advertising, or proactive sales efforts, or interruptive sales efforts. And HubSpot really pioneered that inbound marketing. And so blogging was a centerpiece of that. We used to use a term, I don't know if they still do, eating our own dog food or drinking our own champagne, depending on how fancy you are. And HubSpot certainly did that, right? This is the traffic from HubSpot's blog over the years. And you can see it took us a few years to get it going, although those are really impressive numbers in 2007, 2010 for a startup. But then you can see it really accelerated given the commitment that we had to content creation. And that by itself was the most important thing for helping to get the partner program off the ground, because not only did it help us attract our partners, 20% of the lead flow that we captured on our website were marketing agencies, but it also helped us to start rewarding them and recognizing our partners. And so I have 2 quick little stories about partners. You might know these 2 guys. I just spent a half hour talking to Bob. We talk fairly frequently. I talk to both these guys fairly frequently. Consider them good friends. Paul Raitzer started an agency called PR 2020. They've since changed the name, but he was the first HubSpot partner. And from my first conversation with him, I knew he was a little different, much smarter, much more deep thinker than the average marketing agency owner. And he was doing a lot of great stuff. And for years, I would say, "Hey, you got to write this down and share it. You got to write this down and share it. Writing it down will help you help you formalize your thoughts, and then sharing it will help you get feedback from peers. And you really should write a book." But selfishly, I wanted him to write a book because I knew that if he taught agencies how to run the way that he did, that would help the partner program. I ended up ghostwriting the forward for Brian Halligan, the CEO of HubSpot, and there's a section in there too about how HubSpot can help agencies. So he's since gone on to write 3 books. The first book I've been talking about here for the last minute is called The Marketing Agency Blueprint. He also wrote the book Performance Marketing Blueprint, I think. And then this latest book is on marketing artificial intelligence. Recommend all 3. But Paul was first famous for being HubSpot's first partner. And when he launched his book, I think we were the biggest biggest buyer and of that book. And we used to ship that book out to agency after agency. And then Paul went on to speak at our events, etc. But our goal was to make Paul famous, because by making Paul famous and his story famous, it inspired other agencies to follow in his path. And that is one of the reasons why you should invest in your own marketing, or you need to invest in your own marketing, so that you have a platform to make your partners famous. Bob is on the right-hand side. His agency is called Impact. He's at a 12 million annual run rate after about 12 years. And that's pretty darn good for an agency. He's also managed to figure out how to grow his profitability by adding consulting and training services on top of his professional services business. And Bob's story is interesting. Bob was like the perfect student. So when he came in as a partner, he bought the HubSpot software. He implemented the inbound marketing methodology, and it worked for him. And one of the things that he did is, as part of his own content marketing, was build this infographic. And you can see the infographic here where it says Impact. You can scroll down at the bottom. There's a little call to action. And this infographic was amazing. It was so amazing that our marketing team said, "Hey," well, actually, I went over to our marketing team and said, "Hey, one of our new partners built this amazing infographic. Will you publish a post and embed it into the post and link to their site?" And as a result of that and their own diligence around inbound marketing, they acquired 5 new retainer clients. And for Bob, who at the time was literally working off of his dining room table with 2 or 3 of his friends, that was a life-changing thing for him, right? It helped him really scale his agency, or start to scale his agency, start to improve his cash flow consistency so he could continue to grow his team. And so it's little things like this. It probably took Pamela Vaughn, who published that infographic. It probably took her all of it, like 20 to 30 minutes to publish that. And what it resulted in is helping Impact land 5 of their first new clients. And so little things like this, if you invest in your marketing, can really help your partners grow. And if you're struggling to either prioritize more marketing or just prioritize more co-marketing, here's my 5-sentence suggestion, right? In order to build a partner program, you need to be successfully marketing your company and product first. You can't go out as a startup and expect partners to want to resell your product. No matter how much you love your product or how much better it is than other things out there, you're not going to get their attention. And so you got to market yourself first. You need to be able to create demand that turns into sales for yourself. That is the first step. Once you do that, and I'm not saying you have to do that for 1,000 customers, maybe not even 100 customers, but you got to be able to do that consistently month after month before you start worrying about getting partners to resell your product. And so there's a bunch of reasons for that. If prospective partners don't think their clients need you or want you, they're unlikely to partner with you, right? If you're in a new category or created something new that their clients don't have demand for, it's going to be really hard to convince those agencies or those partners to resell you. Plus, if you market yourself well, you'll attract prospective partners. As I mentioned earlier, 20% of HubSpot's lead flow was agencies. That's actually pretty true at Databox as well. About 20% of our lead flow are marketing agencies. And so if you're marketing a MarTech product, you're going to have that flow. And once you have that flow, it's a lot easier to take somebody who's paying attention to what you're doing and turning them into a partner. And then, as I just mentioned, it's important to make your partners famous, like the story I share about Paul Raitzer and Bob Ruffalo. Making them famous helped them grow their business, helped them both actually evolve what their business was. Paul actually, I didn't mention this, Paul actually sold his agency recently and launched a media company around helping MarTech or helping marketers adopt artificial intelligence in their marketing activities and marketing processes. So I think making your partners famous leads to a lot of amazing things for you, for them. It also, as a bonus, attracts new partners to you, right? If your partners or prospective partners, I mean, see you marketing your partners and sharing the story of your partners, they're going to want to be they're going to want to have that be in the spotlight just like them, right? So they're not only going to learn from you sharing your first partner stories, but it's going to motivate them and in order to be a good partner for you, so that you will eventually someday tell their story as well. And so all of this doesn't work without strong marketing. So hopefully I made that point. And that's kind of the biggest lesson I took away. One of the biggest lessons I took away from HubSpot. There are many lessons I learned at HubSpot, of course. But when I started Databox, I said, this is a must have. Like, I'm not going to either start or join a business unless I get to continue working with marketing agencies. But unless I know that I can market the product effectively, so that I can then build a co-marketing program and a partnership program attached to it. And so that was kind of my key criteria. I think I chose well. I'll share with you some of the stuff we're doing now, which I think takes the co-marketing work that I did at HubSpot up to another level. As CEO here at Databox, I get to make some decisions that around being partner focused, and has allowed me to build both product, marketing, and of course our sales and customer success functions around our partners, as opposed to what most companies I think do, build all those processes and then try to think about how they plug partners in. And so I'll share with you some of the tactics we've employed. So first of all, we invested in our marketing, as you might imagine, but I did not have the kind of budget that Mike Volpe had in the early days of HubSpot, and so we really had to be scrappy. I also had the added challenge that Databox, like HubSpot, is a fairly um, horizontal platform, meaning that lots of different types of companies and actually lots of different functions inside those companies can use our product. To make that make sense, I'm just going to explain real quickly what we do. But basically, we are an analytics tool that plugs into all of the other tools that companies use, like a HubSpot, like a Google Analytics, like a SEMrush and Ahrefs, Google Search Console, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, ads, all the social platforms, video platforms, financial platforms, customer success platforms, CRMs, etc. So we plug into all those tools, pull the analytics data out so that you can then build dashboards, automate reporting, set up scorecards and alerts, benchmark your business, which is new, and a bunch of other things in the product. And so it doesn't work, or it's hard to market this product, is my point, because we could be marketing to a financial person one day, CFO one day, and a CMO the next, or a small business owner one day, in the manufacturing space, and an enterprise company that sells technology the next day. So we don't have a target market other than marketing agencies, which happen to be 40% of our customers and more than 50% of our revenue. But long story short, we invested in marketing and we almost had to partner with experts, because we couldn't sit and write that content. And I'll share with you the process that we followed, but just wanted to show you proof here that we grew our traffic. We're up to just under 250,000 sessions per month. And in 2019, we still only had 2 people on the marketing team. We actually added the third in 2019 and the fourth, and we had fourth in mid 2020. We've since grown the marketing team to invest in a broader range of marketing activities, but we exclusively focused on the stuff I'm about to show you in order to grow our traffic as well as signups for our free product. And we did that with a very small team. So the way we did that is we crowdsourced the content. Now, many of you have probably either written a guest post or accepted a guest post for your content. We did a little bit of that, but what we realized is that the better way to write long form, authoritative, multi-perspective content, which is what Google likes, a bunch of things that Google likes, is to actually include perspective from multiple people in one article. And so what we did is we developed a process where we would identify experts on a specific topic and ask them to contribute to that content. We have a whole process. At this point, we actually have a whole team that spends all day reaching out, asking people to contribute to our content. But then, of course, we have a very streamlined process for collecting their input, asking them very specific, both open-ended and multiple choice questions, as well as process that then hands it off to a writer to weave it together. And on an annual basis, we have about 10,000 people contributing, and that's allowed us to create literally thousands of articles with a very small internal team. We also experimented with inviting our customers to build, or our partners, I should say, to build dashboard templates. So, as I mentioned, our product is a part of one of the features is dashboards, live dashboards, where you can monitor your data on any device. We needed expertise to build these templates. So we reached out to our partners and say, hey, you know the metrics in HubSpot or Google Analytics, et cetera. Why don't you design a template? We'll put it up there. And we'll actually share a lead with you whenever somebody downloads it and uses it as in our product. I'm sharing this because it actually didn't work. I don't have time to get into exactly why it didn't work, but I wanted to share with you that not everything that we've done works. It worked for a little while, but sending the lead was stupid. It never got an agency a client. And I could explain that, but it will take too long. But anyways, long story short, it didn't quite work. We did start to evolve our content strategy to more long form surveys. I think it's kind of like doing research reports, acting almost like an analyst firm in your marketing, I think is like the holy grail of marketing. If you can produce original data about how companies are doing things, not only do people want to read it, people link to it, etc. This article on the right has about 1,000 inbound links to it. I'm not sure on the one on the left, but it ranks for a bunch of really great terms related to Facebook ads, helps us bring in really relevant traffic that also converts. But you can see we're doing multiple choice questions. We're getting lots of data. And we wouldn't be able to do that without our partners both completing those surveys, contributing to the reports, because we also have them quote them in the reports, and also helping us recruit contributors. So we collaborate to recruit contributors. The next thing we did, and this is brand new, is we actually launched a product that allows us to go to market with our partners. It's called Benchmark Groups. It allows an agency to create a group, select metrics from all of the 50 integrations that we've built over the years, and then invite companies to join their group and instantly see a benchmark. So once one of their prospects or clients joins that group, that prospect or client can see how do they compare on these little blue lines to the distribution and the median of the group of companies. You can see this one's here for LinkedIn company pages. You can check it out if you want. It's free. It's benchmarks.databox.com. I think it's plural. Brand new. So I don't say that out loud very much. And we're also promoting their group. So at the end of the day, not only do we get a lead when they invite someone to join the group, but they also get leads from our promotion as well. So the idea here is that we're working together to help them not only capture leads, but differentiate themselves. We have an agency who is doing a group just for SaaS companies over 5 million that sell to enterprise. And that's their benchmark group. And they're helping those types of SaaS companies see how they compare to their peers. Lastly, we're doing editorial planning now with our partners. So this is the same partner that's building that benchmark group for SaaS companies. Their name is 42 Agency. We're actually now crowdsourcing an article on how SaaS companies are defining their marketing qualified leads. What's the definition? What goes into the formula for their MQLs? And so we meet and we plan this together. We crowdsource this together. This allows us all to be a part of this process and go to market together. And then so we sometimes have guests on our podcast who also are partners. It's not exclusively that. We recently had Tim Sulo from Ahrefs and Rand Fishkin from SEMrush, and other companies that aren't in SEO or digital as well. But we often also recruit and have our partners share stories as well. And then lastly, we've been helping them create content. So specifically, if they want to create content that shows off their expertise as well as our product, we will help them either refine that content and sometimes even write portions of it for them. So those are all the things that we're doing. As a result, as I mentioned, we've gotten to about 6.5 million ARR. 50+% of that revenue is actually coming in through partners. Average partner gets seven clients in the platform. It's to say no ad spend. Sorry, just a D. And then we are cash flow break even, have been for years, and growing, investing in our team, investing in innovation, et cetera. All of this because we found low CAC efficient ways of going to market with our partners. So now I'm going to end with a little bit of advice here on how you can scale your marketing through lots of small partnerships. I think most companies, when they think of partnerships, they think about dating up. I was first introduced to this concept from Mike Volpe at HubSpot. He used to say to the marketing team, date up in our partnerships. And so that meant like doing a webinar with Facebook, or at the time doing a webinar or an ebook with Salesforce before they became partners. I think of it very differently. How do you build partnership processes that you can do repeatedly and efficiently that reward your partners, reward lots of your small partners? And by collectively getting lots of small partners on board your business, they together and collectively can do some really big things. But you have to think about it a little different. First of all, one of the things that I run into with marketers, not my team, of course, but one of the things I run into with marketers is they think, well, this partnership stuff is really a long-term play and I have short-term goals, or, hey, our partners don't know our product as well as we do, or don't know our market as well as we do, or maybe our partners they're not writers like I am as a writer, or a content writer, a content marketer, and so they don't know how to do what I do. So I faced a lot of this resistance, and I would you got to battle through those things, and embrace the fact that your partners bring something unique and valuable that most of the time your in-house marketing team doesn't have, which is the fact that they have true hands-on experience day to day, week to week, working with companies that are your prospects and your future and your customers. And they are the practitioners that often implement your product. And they're spending time doing that way more than even your customer success organization is doing, if you're managing your partner program correctly. And so as a result, you gotta think about how do you extract their knowledge and feature them in your content. The other thing I say is keep it simple. Think about what's the simplest thing you can do together. That literally might mean helping them write some LinkedIn posts, or doing a webinar for their accounts, or featuring them or their story in an email campaign that you do, or a blog post that you write. So keep it simple. Think about things you can do in a repeated fashion. It's both easy for you and relatively easy for them. Embrace yourself for drop balls. In my world, where I'm working mostly with small marketing agencies, they're small businesses. They don't have the resources that I do. They certainly hadn't have anywhere near the resources that we had at HubSpot. And they're trying to be billable. I talked to an agency yesterday, 30 some people, and they're 90% billable. I know you probably don't believe that, but it's absolutely true. They have some unique things about their business. And so their time they spend on sales and marketing is precious. And so you got to be prepared that they might overcommit sometimes. They might need to delay sometimes. So you need to think of the co-marketing as a funnel, just like you would a sales funnel, where you're going to have a lot of initial conversations with your partners about doing co-marketing, and some of them are just never going to follow through. Doesn't mean you give up on them necessarily, but you can't be sitting there waiting to press publish until you get that partner to get back to you. You got to have backup plans and be able to continue to hit your goals by accommodating their constraints. And then lastly, to build processes and teams, right? So we have teams at Databox in marketing. We have a team that does prospecting, and each team has different functions that they carry out with our partners. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we built a software product, our benchmark groups product, that is specifically designed to go to market or help our partners go to market in a differentiated way versus their competitors, and also with us. So those are my 4 takeaways, 4 pieces of advice for how to go to market with partners. And I think I'm done.
Pete, that's amazing. We're right at time. You just landed the plane perfectly.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this.
Sure.
Thank you for giving up the goods. Thank you to
Yep.
everybody listening. Enjoy the rest of the day. Take care, folks.
Thanks, Todd.
No problem.